it going? My name is Kevin Block. I'm the superintendent or senior horticulturist here at the Stevens-Coolidge Place up in North Andover, Massachusetts. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at pruning. We're really going to look at some kind of the general guidelines of pruning, why to prune, when to prune, and kind of the first things to look at when you're about to prune a tree or a shrub. So first, the best time to prune is in the winter for most plants. That's because so the trees are dormant, the plants are dormant, so you can really, because there's no leaves on the trees or shrubs, you can really see the shape of the plant. You can see maybe what needs to be pruned. You can see the suckers or rubbing and crossing branches, which we'll talk about as well in a second here. So it's a great time to prune for that reason, because you can really see the shape and what needs to be pruned. Secondly is the tree's dormant, but also that means that insects and pathogens or diseases are also dormant. So you don't have to worry about spreading disease when you're cutting from one branch to the next, or either from one tree or shrub to the next tree or shrub. So every time you're making a pruning cut, you have to think about why you're pruning it. You know, make sure that there's a reason behind it. So when you're looking at a plant, it can be quite overwhelming on what to prune. So really there's three major kind of guidelines to start when you're pruning. First, you want to look for any dead and diseased wood. Dead and diseased wood can be taken out of the tree or shrub at any time throughout the year, but you want to get that out immediately if you do see any dead or diseased wood, because that can cause more issues in the future, spreading the disease or allowing for insects to get in. A second is rubbing or crossing branches, such as this one right here. You can see that this is rubbing along here. This is going to cause a wound on this healthy branch. And then the third real thing is you're looking for suckers. And suckers they're called that because they're really sucking the nutrients and the water out of the plant. So usually they come from from cuts in the past, and they're new growth. And so here's a sucker right here. You can see it's a different color. And we'll look at an apple tree in a second too that has some really good examples of suckers. So let's talk about how to make a proper cut too, which is a big thing. The branch collar is what's below. You can kind of see where this branch hits the next branch. And then you have the branch ridge, which is between the two branches. I don't know if you can see that, but so it's almost making a circular circle around this actual branch, limb, twig, whatever you want to call it. So you don't want to go into the bottom of this branch collar. This is where your xylem and phloem, or your nutrients and water, are moving up, and this is where then it's going to heal over once you make that wound. So a couple things. You don't want to leave a stub. You don't want to go too flush. You want to have it just perfect, which is easier said than done. With the stub, what happens then, that could possibly die. Then you get insects and disease in there, which then can spread through the rest of the plant. You don't know if there's going to be a viable bud there as well. So you never want to leave stubs. It's also aesthetically unpleasing. So really you're making this imaginary line from this ridge down to the collar here. If you can picture that. So you can see it's perfect, that collar down to the ridge. So this is your perfect cut. Now when I talk about flush cutting, some people think that you want to cut it all the way flush like that. This is an incorrect cut on that. You don't want to flush to that, because what happened there is it went into that branch collar, and now it's not going to heal over correctly. So again, if we want to look at this again, you have the collar down here, ridge up here. You kind of make that imaginary line. You make a final, you want to take that weight off, and then a final cut. As you can see, that kind of diagonal cut right in the cut. So you leave the collar and the ridge, and then this is going to heal over nicely in the future. So that's how you make a proper cut. So again, you're looking for dead and diseased wood. You're looking for any crossing branches. Then you're looking for suckers, and then you have to make those proper cuts. Okay, so now we're over looking at an ornamental crabapple, a malus species. This is a Donald Wyman cultivar. This is a great example of suckers on a plant. And it's one thing that crabapples do, they sucker very well. So you can see all these little pieces. We made some cuts here last year. These are little suckers. And you can really see the difference in the color. You can see that they're red compared to this older growth, which is a gray or brown. So you want to go in and prune these all out, like so. Again, not too flush. If you ever feel awkward or you just can't get a right cut on it, it means you're in the wrong position. So always move around the plant. Don't get lazy on it, because then you'll make a bad cut. So now you can see that really opened up this area. So now you're going to get more airflow, more sun through here. Okay, so that's kind of the general guidelines of pruning. As we talked about, this is a great time to do it in the winter when things are dormant. That's why we're staying out here in January, February. It's also a great time in the gardens. The gardens are a little quieter, so you have more time to get into the pruning. You know, we talked about over at the lilac, looking for disease and dead wood, looking for suckers, and looking for any crossing branches. So anyways, well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'm always here at the Stevens-Coolidge Place. Kevin Block, I'm a horticulturist here. So please reach out and stay tuned for the next horticultural video next month. Thank you.